I was able to stack up 48,720 points for open containers inside the traffic tunnels on Blue Gate during the locked gate event. For your equipment, you don't need to pack anything too heavy, just plan to deal with the regular stuff that you find on Blue Gate. Keep in mind there is a bastion inside the tunnel, so you may want to bring something for that, but otherwise you can just run with an anvil and a Toro like I did. Now if you want to make sure that you can score the most amount of points possible, you're also going to want to do a few things. There's two key cards that you can use. The first is the Blue Gate Confiscation Room key, and the second is the Patrol Car key. Both of these keys will open areas that you can access and then loot containers in within the traffic tunnels itself. And then also, if you have the security breach skill, you can access a few security lockers that will be scattered throughout the area, which may also count for this challenge. I don't personally have it, so I'm not sure if it does count for this challenge. I don't know why it wouldn't. But just keep that in mind that I can't confirm it, but it does seem like it's possible. I saw players looting them, so keep that in mind. Also, if a security breach is already opened, if you don't have the skill, you cannot access it. So don't try and just follow somebody who has it. If you have this perk, you can open it and use it. If you don't, you just can't. In my run, I came across 3 or 4 separate security breach options, so just keep that in mind that it will help a little bit. But the big win for me overall was having the Blue Gate Confiscation Room key. It gave me a ton of points right at the very end. Once you spawn in, you need to locate the 4 keys that open the locked gate. Now the entire lobby should participate in this, but it doesn't always often work out that way. So I'd recommend searching for the keys that are closest to you. And you can find those keys in Raider's Refuge, Pilgrim's Peak, Reinforced Reception, and the Ancient Fort. And once a key is grabbed, you want to go to the warehouse complex and interact with one of the consoles that aligns to the key that you have picked up. Once all 4 keys have been found and all 4 of the consoles have been interacted with, the locked gate opens and the underground area opens up. Now just keep in mind, as you're going through this, you're going to run across some fireballs, some ticks, some comets, and maybe even a sentry turret. So just make sure that you take those out as you go, and otherwise it is really smooth sailing. You're going to want to give yourself a little bit more than 30 minutes to work through all of the containers in this space. So if the lock gate doesn't get open within, 8 minutes or so of the match starting, I'd actually recommend leaving and requeuing, because you're just losing a ton of time at that point to search the containers down there. Now for this challenge, it relates to anything behind the lock gate. It is every container within that area of the traffic tunnels itself. Now the containers that you can loot is everything that is placed by the map before the game begins. You can't eliminate an enemy and then search that container and get points, but everything else you can find along the way 100% counts. For my route overall, I went to the right side first because usually a lot of players go to the left side for the reinforced reception area. So I figured I would let the group of them go through and open up all those containers to make it a little bit easier for me to search on my way out. Additionally, because I had the confiscation room key, I wanted to save it until the very end. This way, if another player had it, they'd open it before me and I could save my key for another run if I needed it. Now, if you're not familiar with these tunnels, it can be very confusing, so just go slow and keep in mind that it's very easy to get turned around and to forget where you've been. So just try and lock in the best you can and focus on remembering where you came from and what it connects to. You can think of the underground area as a giant horseshoe. It essentially just goes in, wraps all the way around, and then back out to the front. Along the way, along that horseshoe, there are little outlets that you can go out to that will always lead you back to that main path. So I recommend taking those little side paths as much as possible and then working through them until you're back on the main path. Remember to search every possible area here. The containers can be hidden in a lot of different places. The places that I saw players missing containers quite often was going all the way up the stairs to areas where there's balconies. There were often backpacks or even the little grenade boxes that you could search for on those balconies that gave points. So just remember to look everywhere and search everything as you're going through this challenge. At some point while you're going through the route, just make sure you pay attention to where the final extraction is. You'll want to plan to leave with a few minutes still left so you can avoid any enemies or fight through them if you need to make it to the extraction in time. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes depending on which extraction you're running to get there safely, so just make sure you give yourself that buffer time to get there and get yourself back to Speranza safely. That's going to be it for me today, y'all. Thanks for watching.